All right, bring it in grade 7s, thank you. Should be sitting down in front of me in 3, 2, and 1. Thanks for listening up, guys. Okay, today in our PE lesson, we're going to be playing a new Indigenous game. What has been our focus in our Indigenous games this term?
Movement and communication strategies.
Perfect, our movement and communication strategies. All right, the game we're going to be playing today is called Keen Tan. It's a keeping away game. So the main point of this game is to keep the ball away from the other team. You will be walking in this 4 by 6 meter square for this first round, just walking and keeping possession from the other team. If you have the ball, you can run up to 3 meters and hold the ball for 3 seconds before you have to pass to a teammate. It can be any sort of pass. You can do a high one, you can do a chest pass, you can even do a bounce pass. Probably wouldn't recommend that. And if you're on defense, your job is to slap it down and stop the other team from having possession. It's not really about points for now, and you just want to be focusing on having the ball for as long as possible. Let's make sure we're trying to get it to everybody on our team and making sure everybody has a fair go. One thing to note, I know some of us boys get a bit silly. When you're on defense, you can only be within an arm's width of that person. If you are this close, it'll be turned around straight away. Does everyone understand?
Yep.
Sweet, let's get started. I'll get you guys into groups. I'll get the 4 girls there and the 4 boys there in this square, and we'll be starting this first round just walking in 3, 2, 1. That's really good, guys. Keep it up. We have 2 minutes left. Let's make sure we keep walking around. Try to get those chest passes off. Those are really good ones. That's nice, guys. All right, grade 7s, 5 seconds left. Let's try to get a few more passes off. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's time. Bring it into me, thanks, guys. Give it 5 seconds. All right, let's sit down, please, boys. All right. How do we find that? Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Nice. All right, my first question for you guys is, how are we communicating with each other? What sort of things are we saying? Are we saying, pass the ball here, mine? What are we doing?
Using each other's names and trying to communicate for space.
Nice, using each other's names. That's really good. I saw some people doing it really well over in that group over there. How about on attack? What sort of things are we doing when we don't have the ball to help the person with the ball?
We want to keep moving and trying to find space.
Keep moving. I love that. I don't want to see people standing still, especially since in the next round we're going to be moving to running. If we stand still, it gets really hard and it makes the defender's job easier to mark us. That's nice. And on defense, what can we do to disrupt the other team?
You want to get in between attacking players and try intercept the ball.
Nice. Love that. Perfect. I saw some other people trying to mark up with their man and stand right next to them just so it's harder to get that pass off and following them around. That's really good. All right, for this next round, I'm going to make the square a little bit bigger and we're going to switch to running now. Let's make sure we're focusing on communicating with our teams, with our names, not just saying mine, mine, mine. We're not seagulls, and we want to make sure that we're marking up a player and constantly moving. Cool with that?
Yep.
Sweet. Nice, guys. Keep it up. 2 minutes left, grade 7. Sophie, try to look for James. James is in space. That's really good. Let's make sure we keep moving. Miranda, that's lovely. All right, 5 seconds left, grade 7s. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it into me, thanks, guys. Give you 5 seconds. If you can see me and are listening, put your hands on your heads. Perfect, everybody's listening. All right, how do we find that round with the running? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, my first question for you guys is, do you think it was harder or easier with running?
It was a bit harder to catch the ball, but it was easier to find space.
Lovely, I love that answer. And one thing I noticed, a lot more people were finding it easier to jump with the momentum you got from running. That's a great answer. My second question is, what sort of passes did you find the most effective this time over?
I think shorter passes were better, easier to catch, and then fast passes.
Fast passes, short, fast passes, love that. The long ones, what was wrong with the long ones?
The other people could catch them.
Bit more easier, of course. And all right, my next question is, what about the size of the court change? How did we find that? Did that make it easier, harder?
It sort of forces like the longer passes, so easier for defenders, but you can find more space.
Perfect, love that answer. Yeah, I extend the passes mainly to find that more space, and I love how I saw lots of people in space like Joseph. All right, guys, that's some great answers. For our third and final round now, it's going to get a little bit more trickier. We're going to be switching away from our little volleyball to our tennis ball. So you might want to be thinking about what sort of pass is going to be most effective now. Just remember, even though it's a tennis ball, we still have to jump when we catch the ball. All right, we'll swap teams. So those two swap teams, and you're on this court behind me now. Grab this tennis ball, and you're starting in 5, 4, 3. That's right, guys. Pick up the ball there. That's all right if we drop it. 2 minutes left now. You've got it. All right, let's finish this up now. Grade 7, finishing in 3, 2, and 1. Sweet, coming into me. All right, I've only got one short question for you now about that game. And what sort of passes did we try now?
Softer passes, like underarm.
Underarm. I saw a couple overarm passes go, and they didn't really work because it's a bit harder to catch a ball, especially with the jumping. And that's really good. One more question is, how for games like soccer and AFL can a drill like this be useful to developing skills?
Helps you find the space.
Yeah, helps you find the space, of course. Anything else?
And communicating.
And communication, of course. I know for myself in rugby, we've played many games like this about keeping space and drawing and passing. All right, I want you grade 7s to go get ready for your next class, and I will see you next week.
This is my EDPE299 AT1 Folio, and this is the justification of my communication and curriculum strategies I use throughout my lesson. In my first slide, I will discuss how my non-verbal communication skills were central to engaging Year 7 learners. I made sure my appearance was appropriate with professional clothing, neat hygiene, and positive body posture, which research shows helps build teacher credibility and student trust. For example, Witt, Crescent, Greep 2011 found that teacher immediacy behaviours such as body language, facial expressions, and movement significantly improve student effect and learning outcomes. Additionally, I paired my spoken instructions with gestures and demonstrations to reduce ambiguity for diverse learners. For example, my showing what an arm's reach looked like, or showing what the jump catch looked like. A 2021 study in Frontiers in Psychology highlights that multimodal instruction combining verbal and non-verbal cues increases clarity and promotes motivation in physical education. Ultimately, by using facial expressions, posture, and hand movements alongside my spoken instructions, I provide accessible communication channels for all students, including those who may learn better visually or struggle with non-verbal directions. My second focus is on tone and knowledge of content. I maintain an easy-to-follow tone, clearly emphasizing and repeating words and phrases like jump to catch the ball or this round is walking. Research consistently shows that clarity of instruction and vocal emphasis are critical in PE. For example, a Frontiers in Psychology study on teacher communication found that clear and consistent delivery supports students' competence, autonomy, and motivation. Because I had a strong understanding of the Keen 10 rules and cultural context, I could provide precise instructions and correct errors quickly. Schulman's concept of pedagogical content knowledge is widely supported in recent research showing that when teachers combine subject knowledge with instructional clarity, students report higher engagement and deeper learning. This combination of confident delivery and content expertise made my lesson easier to follow and more engaging for Year 7 students. My third slide looks at questioning and feedback. After each round or attempt in the game, I gauge student understanding first through nonverbal cues, body language, posture, and expressions, and even asked, what do we think of that? And then I follow by asking questions such as, was that easier or harder? Why? What sort of pass is working the best? Why? This aligns directly with the Teaching Games for Understanding model, which promotes tactical awareness and decision making rather than only technical drills. Griffin, Mitchell, and Osland 2015 emphasizes that questioning is central to TGFU because it encourages students to reflect and problem solve in game contexts. Research in sport education and society also supports that teacher questioning improves engagement and helps learners connect skills to real game contexts. By combining observations with questioning, I supported student agency and deeper skill learning in Keen 10. Finally, this lesson directly connects to the Year 7 to 8 Australian curriculum, Health and Physical Education. Students practice and refine movement skills and apply strategies in new contexts. The teaching games for understanding model allowed them to think about tactics and teamwork and not just skills. This actively also embeds the cross-curriculum priority of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures by respecting Indigenous knowledge and integrating traditional games into physical education. This aligns with AITSL Standard 2.4 promoting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures, as well as Standard 3.2 which relates to planning and sequencing effective learning. Peer-reviewed evidence supports this approach. PIL 2013 highlights that Indigenous games and PE promote cultural inclusivity, identity, and student engagement in ways that strengthen both physical intercultural learning. By embedding King-Tan, this lesson not only developed physical literacy but also promoted cultural understanding and respect, making it both curriculum aligned and pedagogically strong. This is section 2 of surrounding reflections, adjustments, and literacy and numeracy. Although it's challenging to explicitly address literacy and numeracy requirements in a physical education lesson, some aspects of the King-Tan lesson still support these skills. For literacy, students must listen carefully to instructions from me or either peers, which requires decoding verbs, prepositions, and spatial language such as move forward 3 steps or throw to the center. I also use questioning throughout the lesson, asking students to reflect on what worked well or how they could adjust their movement. This encourages them to progress language, explain their thinking, and engage in discussion, strengthening comprehension and expressive language skills. Repeating key phrases also helps students focus on critical information and ensures they understand the tasks. For numeracy, students estimate distances for passes and adjust the strength of their throws, which develops practical measurements and estimation skills. Coordinating turns and understanding the sequence of play introduces temporal concepts and logical ordering, helping students to organize the actions effectively within the game. By embedding these literacy and numeracy elements into the lessons, students practice academic skills in meaningful real-world contexts while remaining active and engaged. Inclusive teaching strategies are essential to ensure that all students, regardless of their abilities, can practice fully in educational activities. Incorporating students with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and physical disabilities into PE requires intentional differentiation to ensure equitable participation. For students with ASD, strategies such as individualized instruction and visual supports are effective. Research indicates that students with ASD often benefit from clear, structured routines and visual cues, which can reduce anxiety and enhance understanding of tasks. Additionally, peer-assisted learning has been shown to improve social interactions and motor skill among students with ASD. For students with physical disabilities, adaptive equipment and modified tasks are crucial. Utilizing equipment like large or lighter balls can accommodate various abilities, while task modifications ensure that all students can engage meaningfully. Students who may struggle with physical execution can still participate by taking on roles such as scoring, timekeeping, or refereeing, which allows them to be involved in the game, develop strategic thinking, and contribute to team success. Implementing universal design for learning principles such as providing multiple means of engagement and expression supports diverse learners by offering flexible pathways to success. By integrating these strategies, PE teachers can create an inclusive environment that fosters participation and learning for all students regardless of their abilities. Although 3 different modifications of King-Tan were already provided, further adjustments can be made depending on whether a student is struggling or advancing. For students who are struggling, the task can be simplified by continuing to use a full-size ball, removing the jump to catch rule, keeping the movement to walking, and allowing them to hold the ball for longer. These adjustments help build confidence and ensure that students can still participate meaningfully without becoming frustrated. For students who are advancing, the challenge can be increased by only allowing catches with one hand, shrinking the playing field, introducing a scoring system, and incorporating a jump to pass rule. These modifications encourage skill refinement, enhance tactical awareness, and maintain engagement by providing a suitable level of challenge. By adapting the activity in this way, all students can participate at a level that is appropriate for their abilities, supporting inclusivity and promoting progression in their movement skills. This assignment allowed for a reflection on my current strengths and weaknesses as a pre-service teacher. One of my key strengths is my ability to use questioning effectively to gauge student understanding and promote for reflection, which aligns with teaching games for understanding model to enhance tactical awareness. I also feel confident in differentiating and modifying tasks based on individual learner needs, ensuring that all students can participate meaningfully and progress at their own pace. At the same time, I recognise areas for growth. I need to continue developing strategies to embed literacy and numeracy into physical education more consistently, ensuring students can participate in these skills in meaningful ways. Additionally, I aim to improve my curriculum knowledge further, particularly in linking lessons explicitly to the Australian and Queensland HP curriculum. Finally, I want to continue to refine my use of non-verbal cues, as these are essential for communicating instructions and maintaining engagement. Overall, this reflection has highlighted the importance of ongoing professional growth to provide inclusive, effective, and engaging learning experiences for all students. Thank you.